Hello, everybody. My name is Dean Cottiel. I'm with Fleetistics, and a real privilege for me to introduce you to a colleague and a friend, John Smizek. Today, we're talking, as it gets a little bit colder in the northern parts of the US, about what it means to prepare your car, prepare your vehicles for the winter road. Being in South Africa, sunny South Africa, as many people would say, means I haven't had a great deal of exposure to the wet, wintry, icy roads that so many of you, John, your side, are exposed to on a regular basis. But I did spend some time in Europe, and I remember the dream was we wanted to get a Land Rover and spend some time in Iceland. But we just weren't ready for the icy roads, man. We had to get the chains and wrap the tires, and even then, we skidded on some of the roads, and it was just really something we'd never experienced before. But this is something you're quite familiar with.
Yes, I am also in warm weather now. I'm in sunny Florida, but for 35 years I was in Wisconsin, state of Wisconsin, in northern U.S., and have had many opportunities to drive on roads that were definitely less than favorable conditions, very dangerous conditions, icy, lots of wind and snow, and lots of obstacles. So yes, I have lots of experience in those kinds of conditions.
Yeah. On a personal note, you've got some experience there, but I'm sure that this can really escalate quite quickly when dealing with fleets and trucks.
Yes, it absolutely can. When you're dealing with large trucks and large vehicles carrying cargo, obviously they need more space, more room to stop and brake. In these conditions, obviously stopping and braking at a very sudden pace is very difficult to do. And so I've seen lots of pileups. One that comes to mind back in actually earlier this year in January, back home there was about an 80 card pileup in southern Wisconsin, where it was just an issue that kept compounding because people couldn't stop. The whiteout conditions, you couldn't see much more than the front of your vehicle. Even when you're going 30, 40 miles per hour, it's very hard to see. And it's a lot of rear end, and it just didn't stop.
I think it goes without saying, but so how important is it really to prepare for the open road in these conditions?
For fleet managers, it's very important for them to have their drivers and their trucks ready for appropriate road conditions and what they're not only going to face on their own as far as driving, but also with the obstacles of civilians. Civilians are obviously at a different pace than a lot of fleets, and so they are driving around us. They cause obstacles, and because of that, our drivers need to be aware. So safety always comes first, especially in winter conditions, understanding that you need to be aware of your surroundings and be expected for civilians to cause you to slow down, to cause you obstacles, and to make it difficult for you to get to where you're getting to in a safe way.
Fleetistics has put together a checklist, almost that you can go through with your drivers, with your team. How important is a kind of checklist to ensure that you've got what you need, whether it's a survival kit that you need to have with you, or just making sure that you have the appropriate truck, vehicle, tires to get going?
Sure. And again, being from Wisconsin originally, I have a lot of experience with emergency kits. It was something we all had in our vehicles because, again, you could be the best driver in the world. It doesn't mean everybody else on the road is going to adhere to the same rules and concepts that you do. So having a kit is extremely helpful. Should you become stranded in an accident, any kind of happening that you may need to have materials at your hands at that moment that you need them. Should be enough for a couple days. You're looking for things like blankets. You're going to want extra gloves and hats, warm socks in case that what you have on it gets wet, flashlights with batteries. First aid kits are very important to have on hand. In the winter up in the north, batteries die. You can't turn your car over, so it's very smart to have battery chargers or booster cables. And of course, drinking water, non-perishable foods, things that you can keep in the vehicle if you were to be stranded.
So I mean, hearing you talk like that is unbelievable for me, because it preparing not only yourself but the vehicle to ensure that you have what you need is so important. It's something I don't even think about, being out here in South Africa and having to quickly go on holiday, across country. But hearing you guys talk about just the effect that the ice and the wind and the snow actually has an effect on the roads, just how important it is. So that's really, really interesting for me to hear. So Fleetistics has put together a checklist. We've put together a blog post that is available for people to download and have a look at.
Yes, we have a blog post that we have on fleet winterization to prepare your fleet and your drivers for driving in winter weather and driving appropriately in that winter weather. We also, within that blog, have a winterization checklist that will not only go over the emergency survival kit to have inside the trucks and your vehicles, and even for personal use if you are to be traveling in these areas. It not only goes over those parts of the kit, but it also goes over your vehicle and your trucks, what to check and make sure the tires are in good working order, make sure that the fluids are in where their appropriate levels are supposed to be, making sure you're putting a vehicle that is appropriate to be on the road in the appropriate condition.
In the first place. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, of course, we offer here at Fleetistics, we offer a plethora of telematic and dash cam options as well. So in these circumstances, when accidents happen, when things do happen, it is very good tools. They are very good tools to have at your hands for fleet managers to be able to access data, get accident data. We can recover video data, things of that nature. So,
okay. John, thank you so much for your time. I know that I have learned a great deal here, and really amazing to see what you guys go through on a regular basis in terms of preparing for the winter icy roads. So for everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out our website, fleetistics.com, for more information, and we'll see you soon.